Lord of the Knives John Griffin is going to give us a quick guide on what to do with the good fatty trimmings you often get left with after you butcher your harvested meat. As the summer is here, there's nothing better than to fire up the barbecue between the showers and pop on a tasty burger. So John is going to show us his way of making a bumper batch of venison burgers with a Spanish twist.
We have flanks here. They're nice fatty flanks, so they'll add a lot of fat to it as well. People will tell you that deer fat isn't good in burgers. I don't find that to be the case. I'll try to go for about 20% fat. The trouble is if you put too much fat in them, they tend to just melt on the barbecue and you end up with flames everywhere.
To save you washing up every time, freeze the best trimmings in batches, and just before the barbecue season starts, bring them all out and let them defrost slowly in a fridge, not getting them above 7 degrees Celsius. That way when your burgers are made, you can freeze them again.
So you can see the amount of fat in this flank now. That's brilliant for burgers. So you'll notice we're leaving the chunks of meat fairly big. We have a good industrial mincer and it just eats through it.
You can use a domestic kitchen mincer, but be prepared to keep buying new ones. If you're going to be a regular mincer, then you may want to think about picking up a second-hand industrial one. John's only cost him a couple of €100. He also has a massive stand mixer, but we know not everybody has room for one of those in the kitchen.
We have a mixer.
And a mincer in it.
Because not everybody has a Hobart mincer in their larder, we're going to mix it on the table like the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah. For consistency, we all started out, you know, throwing breadcrumbs in and eggs in and onions and all sorts of things into them. And invariably, at some stage you end up with inedible burgers because you just push it too far. So in recent years I've gone back to the butchering roots and just started using what we used many years ago from the butcher suppliers. So you buy a bag of this stuff and you get it for €3 or €4 and it has everything in it. It gives you the recipe for the burgers, so it tells you how much meat, how much fat, how much water to put into it, because they all need a bit of water once you put a mix like that into it. And it just makes foolproof burgers. You get consistency, you get the same burger every time. I'm going to add some chorizo flavouring to these burger supremes just because we like it. Gives us a slightly smoky taste, like chorizo sausage or a chorizo burger. We're not going to use any pork in this mix because we have enough fat going through it with those flanks. So generally we just flatten it out on the table. This is an old pizza table, so it has the raised sides in it, which is great for this crack. So just digging the fingers in to make lots of little wells in it. Get a good large surface area. So we have 20 kilos of meat on the table here. We're going to add 1 kilo of mix. So this is as per the recipe. So we're just going to sprinkle it around. Just our chorizo mix now going through it. Just break up any lumps in it. And then we have 2.5 litres of water. So we just pour that over it. And all the dimples that we made with our fingers, this flows into it. So that's only a half litre in. And we might need to start mixing it now before it starts to flow off the table. Flatten it all out again. Add the rest of the water. In the butchering trade, you'd often add a binder to this, which would sort of bind the meat together. The other way of doing it is just mixing the meat until the proteins start to break down and they form their own binding. So this is going to take a while. You can see it's starting to get sticky like there. See, it's starting to stick together. Yeah, that's the action of kneading it. So it's because I'm crunching it through my fingers.
So the more you mix it, the better, really.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than your burgers disappearing down through the barbecue. And the more I mix it, the drier it's going to get. Because the meat will absorb the water as it breaks down. Years ago, I used to make burgers at home with the wife and on the kitchen table. And we had one of those cast iron burger press things. And you make a ball and you weigh the ball and you get your papers and you put your paper either side of it. And then you press it and invariably it gets stuck inside the cast and you have to try and force it out. I came across this thing on the internet and it's just an attachment that goes onto a standard sausage press. Trick is not to overfill the mold, and the burger drops out into my hand like that. I put the burger down to the bottom corner of the bag, like so. And the next one is full for me. Make it faster, I suppose. And the burger is the same every single time. And they're a good sized burger. So now I've got 4 burgers in the bag, like that. I simply fold that over like that. Fold that over like that. And there's my burgers, bagged up, all separate. They can be frozen like that. They can be taken out frozen and taken out of the bag one at a time. If you leave your burgers sitting in the fridge overnight after you've made them, because it allows the flavours to infuse into the meat itself, a bit like marinating. So you get a taste of your burger.
And then freeze them the next day?
And then freeze them the next day, yeah.
Okay.
That was Jason.
The tastiest burgers in the country. Take my word for it, I had 2.